Jace, Herbert House is a recovery support house. As opposed to your standard traditional sober living, what does recovery support house mean?
Well, over the years, there seems to be some confusion and negativity associated with the name sober living. So I want this to be a very positive experience living in community. What I mean by recovery support housing is that we have many diverse forms of addiction that reside here. Sexual addiction, gambling issues, alcoholism, chemical dependency. So if we just were to say sober living, it wouldn't encompass all that we do here and all that we embrace.
You got a guy who could maybe greatly benefit from the service you provide here, has an issue that he needs to recover from, but say he's got a family life at home, he's got a wife he doesn't want to leave and is afraid he's not going to be able to see her, or he's dating, he's got a girlfriend or kids, he's got a father who still wants to be able to provide and see his children, but could maybe really use your help. Are you going to interfere with his ability to do so, or are you going to be able to help? Is he still going to be able to see his kids and wife?
Absolutely not. We would not interfere with his ability to do so. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. We would not interfere with his ability to do so. We would encourage his ability to do so. Mm-hmm. That is what recovery support housing is. We encourage and support these men to be successful in their lives, all facets of their lives. Home, work, play, recovery, spirituality, whatever is important to them, we want them to be successful at it. So we try to provide a stressful-free, minimal structured, minimal accountability, recovery type environment for them to conduct their lives as a base. This is the base where they live and reside, and then they go out to their responsibilities, returning to their base.
You're not confined to just one specific addiction or a philosophy, a 12-step philosophy?
No. Well, since we honor all addictions and we embrace all addictions and all men with their challenges, we have no monopoly on how they need to recover, which adds to the diverse dimension of a human experience. I see that the men seem to get well at a very accelerated rate because that helps them gain an acceptance of each other and of the human condition coming from so many different angles and challenges that they each face in life.
Herbert House used to be co-ed. Why is it now men's facility only?
Well, I was looking, when we first created Herbert House 18 years ago, it was a very futuristic idea. Very nice accommodation, structure, accountability, drug testing, chores, outside meeting requirements. All this was necessary 18 years ago. Now we have many people in the industry doing the same thing, and they do it very well. And they have specific target populations, 18 to 22, co-ed, non-co-ed, gender specific. So I asked a lot of questions of people in our industry. Where is our industry going? So many treatment centers have sprung up because addiction has grown along with the treatment, and the treatment must grow along with it, and so must the recovery support. So now that so many addictions are coming out of the closet, sexual addictions, for example, gambling issues, co-occurring disorders, and not only gender specific, but age specific, I found that it was very important for the more mature male to be in an environment conducive to the challenges that he faces in life as he recovers, with responsibilities to a marriage, to children, to a career path, as opposed to the younger gentlemen and ladies who don't necessarily have a career path yet. And so it's a more genuine support system that goes on here.
Do you personally interview every prospective client here? Would you say that there's more freedom allowed here? And if so, if there's more freedom allowed here, why and how is that beneficial to certain kinds of people?
Well, I certainly interview everybody that comes through here because I am looking for a certain type of individual. One that has shown the responsibility in his life thus far, with or without the fact that he has an addiction, to be successful in certain aspects of his life. Now he's challenged in other aspects of his life, and that's where we come in to support him. So we give them the freedom to meet life's responsibilities that they've already shown the aptitude and the ability to handle well. They've just come across something else that they need a little help with. So I personally interview everybody to see where they're at, what they've done in the past, what their plan is for the future, and then if it would be a good fit and we have adequate support to meet their challenges and their goals.
Do you limit yourself to one philosophy, say 12-step philosophy, and how exactly does it work? How does someone recover here at Herbert House?
Well, recovery is their responsibility. Supporting their recovery is mine. I support it in a multitude of ways. There are responsibilities to the house that must be met. There is attendance to 2 meetings that we hold. One would be a general house meeting followed by attendance by all the men in the house, in which the most healing aspect of that is they do a check-in. They share what's going on with themselves in life. Our second meeting is on a Thursday night. That is an AA meeting. Regardless of your sexual addiction, regardless of your addiction, you will be required to attend that if you do not have other responsibilities that need to be met on that particular night. Because the theme of a 12-step meeting in this house, not an outside meeting, is the fact that one's life is unmanageable. And all the men in this house have that common challenge. My life is not working. How do I bring myself to a more healing place, to a more congruent human being? How can I be more honorable in the way I treat others and myself? And that's what our AA meeting is about. Although we do read out of the book, the general sharing of the human condition is the most valuable thing that takes place here.
What would you say to a prospective client who has problems with God or higher power theme as addressed in the 12 steps?
Well, I can only share my personal experience on that. Each man's journey or quest for faith or to faith is his own personal journey. I have mine. Other people have theirs. What catapulted me in that direction basically was the fact that there was no other place to go. When I really realized how challenged I am by my own resources not being enough to bring me the life and the inner peace that I've always been looking for, to be the man that I want to be in my eyes, to myself and to the people that I care about and to the world in general, it was very important for me to look in that direction and to pull out the valuable gems that faith and a principled, disciplined way of life holds. Not everybody follows that path. I am a conglomeration of many different spiritual disciplines, 12 steps being one of them, but certainly not the only one.
Would you say that at Herbert House you focus on spirituality rather than religion? Do you encompass religion?
Well, that's a funny thing. If a man wants to seek religion as a spiritual methodology to his life, then he's more than welcome to do so. See, we hold no monopoly on any of it. We have men that go to Agape, which is a non-denominational spiritual center. We have men that follow Judaism. We have men that follow 12 steps, holistic. Some men are very much in an agnostic state, almost an atheist state, if you will. It's their own personal journey, and I cannot tell them how. I can offer my experience, but what works for me or works for somebody else may not work for them. And that's what I think sets us apart. We don't require them to follow any path, just a path that will work for them.
What would you say would be the ideal client to come into Herbert House? Who would really fit and work here as a tenant and client?
My experience over the years has taught me that you cannot tell somebody in recovery what to do. And so I've incorporated that here. They need to do something. That is the first conversation that we have when they come to interview. They're interviewing me, they're looking around the place, and I'm interviewing them as well. The important thing is, do you feel you need recovery, and what method are you going to employ to use as an avenue to your recovery? if something doesn't seem to be working right, if they're not getting along with other guys, we may have a conversation and kind of review what exactly are you doing. Is it working for you? If not, you may want to add instead of subtract. I'm a big believer in adding to your recovery and not substituting. So maybe a little bit of AA, maybe a little bit of spirituality, maybe a little bit of therapy would work for an individual. I encourage them to explore all avenues. That's the bottom line.
What kind of message of hope would you give someone that is considering becoming a prospective client or tenant or member of Herbert House, call it what you will? What kind of message of hope could you give them, and what kind of success stories have you seen over the years?
I've seen tremendous success. I have seen tremendous success stories, my own included. We have people that have come through here that have gone on to acquire PhDs, MBAs. Not only that, they've opened up recovery houses and sober livings on campuses throughout the country. These are all my alumni. I've had 800 people come through here in 18 years. We've also had a lot of tragedy. I want you to know that this is a very serious endeavor that we approach here. Addiction is fatal if not addressed properly. There is hope. There has to be hope. You know, there's hope in life. That's the message. You may not sense it now, you may not feel it now, but without hope, none of us could get started. So it is possible. So my experience, the experience of the men they reside with, in a very short amount of time, kindles the fire of hope in these individuals. And of course, they really come with a pilot light of hope, or they wouldn't be knocking on the door. If they felt there was no hope for them, they wouldn't seek a place to reside in which to address their issues.